Hello, Naysayer Nation. We are back for the very almost special 99th episode. It's not 100, so almost special.
Almost there.
Almost the big one.
But let me tell you, the big one is going to be fun.
Oh, for sure. Of course, as a friendly reminder, our 100th episode is going to be the week after next because Mr. Shockblast will be rubbing elbows with the big shots over at New York Comic Con.
No. I'll be here next week.
Oh, I thought you were skipping.
No, the 20th. I'm only going Friday. I'll be back Saturday.
Oh, cool. So you just made us sad for nothing. Okay.
No. I just said that next week's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, there you go. Jay will not be staying in New York, rubbing elbows with the big shots.
Oh, I'll be doing that just only for one day.
Yeah. Well, how many elbows can you rub in one day?
You know what? Listen, I got a really cool email on Friday that I was very surprised about. And the emailer, their email was from @pokemon.com. So I'm very excited.
Oh, all your years of being a slave to Nintendo will finally pay off.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know if this is on your like agenda, but man, some shit going on with Pokemon right now.
I missed out on that. I was let's see, according to the current itinerary, I had Penguin, Agatha All Along, Sparking Zero, Starfield Shattered Space, Joker 2, the DCU, Little New York Comic Con. Figured you'd want to throw in some wrestling as well. So we've got room for some fresh drama, of course.
Yeah. Massive leak from Game Freak.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but then I remembered I don't care about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
well, apparently in that data mining, like Gen 10 is coming, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
I'm sure Nintendo's lawyers are very busy handing out copyright strikes.
Oh God, yeah. I would never cover it, you know. But maybe that's all. I they didn't say I couldn't talk about it, but at New York Comic Con on Saturday and Sunday, they have like a special event for Pokemon for the new set that's coming out off site. But Friday night they invited me to a press preview like from 5 to 7. So yeah, I'll be doing that. I'm very excited.
I thought it was related to Pokemon Go.
I mean, Pokemon Go will probably be there. But yeah. It's Pokemon in general, like the actual card game Pokemon people. So,
should be exciting. Well, don't get too swept up. A lot going on, Jay. We're almost in election season, so
yeah.
While you're up there, make sure you Pokemon go to the polls.
That is the whitest thing you've ever said.
Shout out to Hillary Clinton. My favorite quote any politician has ever said.
Did she really say that?
Yeah, yes, literally. That's the actual direct quote.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense now. God, let me just tell you, I've never hated someone like politically as much as Clinton. She was awful, and not only that, but like I have just years and years and years of like my dad's hatred of Bill Clinton. Like my dad like blamed Bill Clinton for him no longer being in the Marines.
Jesus.
Like Bill Clinton personally.
How can you hate Bill Clinton? I mean, well, before the stuff came out, I mean, he was just a saxophone player, decent president, got a little sloppy toppy in the White House.
Yeah.
Well,
No, he
after now, yeah. Oh boy,
yeah,
all
he
that Epstein
absolutely
stuff.
blames him. Like I didn't know it's possible to hate someone as much as he hated Bill Clinton, because like my dad like has been gone for like 5 or 6 years now, and he would still be a Marine if not for Bill Clinton.
Well,
So
you won't hear me pushing back on any anti
yeah,
Bill Clinton.
I don't even care. I will go and vote locally, but
He's
I'm not voting for either one of these two dipshits.
he's in Diddy territory now.
Yeah. So anyway, another wild start to the show.
As usual, and as
Shout out
usual,
to all the folks that are here. That's your
yeah,
job.
yeah, that is indeed my job. Shout out to Old Man Eastwood. Welcome, congratulations on being first. So much for Denzel. Oh yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. We had some MCU potential MCU leaks going on. Sup Champagne, Sparking Goat, yes sir. Divine Shine, Sup Marvel, Gabe. I know he's celebrating. This is basically Aaron Pierre week for Gabe. He cannot be more excited.
Oh my god, have you seen the controversy about that?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. That's part of
Okay.
the itinerary.
I stayed out of it because like
Because you're white.
but like also other things,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Shout out to Steven, American Werewolf over on the Twitch side, Joker, Jay, Travis, of course, in the building. Appreciate all y'all. Eugene Ron. We are, of course, live on both YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you like, share all that good stuff that you need to keep a podcast healthy and growing. So, Mr. Shockblast, let's talk about it. The controversy you didn't want to get into. So James Gunn's been a busy man, Mr. Shockblast. Made a couple of videos about the goings ons in the MCU, DCU. James Gunn very busy. He teased Peacemaker, gave us a little hint at what's to come in the new season. He teased a potential the first Superman trailer dropping this year, potentially even at New York Comic Con. But the biggest news, according to Gabe, is that Aaron Pierre was just cast as John Stewart, the best Green Lantern, in the upcoming Lantern show on Max. He will be joined by Coach Taylor, aka Kyle Chandler.
Can we talk about the fact that in literally every single photo that the press uses of that guy, they use like a photo from like 20 years ago? Like every single one they use, it's him like at his youngest.
I mean, to be fair, he's most famous for Friday Night Lights when he was younger.
Yeah, but like you got to use something current.
I did see a current photo of which I thought was actually better one that I saw one outlet use. I used it in my video when I covered it, but he's got his beard grown out, and he actually looks a lot like the scruffier Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going with like parallax Hal Jordan at some point, which is lame. Whatever.
Speaking of lame, High Ruler is in the building. I know High Ruler is excited as well. Gabe got Aaron Pierre in the DCU, and looks like High Ruler is getting Concord back. There was some movement in the files indicating that potentially they may be looking to relaunch Concord as free to play. I mean, feels like you got. I guess it makes sense. I mean, it only lasted like 10 days. You might as well make one more shot at it. I mean, it's a. I mean, the term sunk cost fallacy comes to mind, but you already set a pile of money on fire. You might as well see you get something out of it. But yeah, I also didn't dive too much into the Aaron Pierre controversy. I did see a meme that someone posted that Lejeune shared that I laughed very hard at of it's basically making light of the light skin thing. But I didn't look at any of like the serious discourse about it because I think it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just wild to me that a lot of these same people that will like sit here and argue. Like, what is her name? Alexandra Shipp, was that who played Storm in like the
Oh yeah,
recent X?
yeah.
She went through the same thing when she was cast as Storm,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think the whole thing. Yeah, Sachio Gomez as well. When she was cast as America Chavez, she went through.
yeah,
She went
because
through the
she's
exact.
Mexican and not Puerto Rican or
Yeah,
something.
she went through the exact same thing. I remember even Rachel Ziegler. There was like this whole thing. She mostly dodged it, but she was in West Side Story, and she got some pushback because she made a big deal about race and identity, but she was playing a Puerto Rican in that movie, which she obviously is most certainly not. So I think I there's obviously a big history in the Black community about colorism. I think it's mostly outdated, but yeah, there was a time when there was a division created as a result of the rampant racism in the country between the Black community, because fairer skinned Black people would be able to quote unquote pass, and they were considered less despicable than darker skin. So that created kind of a division for years within the community, which I always thought it was bad. Obviously, if some back in those days, if you just sold out, not ideal. But these days, it's like, yeah, people may get better roles because they're considered more desirable, but for the most part, I mean, you see dark people, you see lighter people, all sorts of people are getting opportunities these days. Daniel Kaluuya doing very well doing well for himself. Was the bishop? A lot of people doing well. I think it's just a really silly
Drake.
whole thing. Drake, yeah, Kendrick won that one. He's darker, so I think the whole thing is pretty stupid and
Yeah,
dated nowadays, especially since these are the same people who will dismiss someone's entire race getting or gender getting swapped out
exactly. That was
if
a point that I would have made.
if it benefits their ideology. But if if a person of color is 5% the shade in the wrong direction from where they think it should be, they want to start a riot. Just shut up.
Yeah, that was my issue, is that a lot of these people, like, if a character gets, race swapped or gender bended, something like that, they're like, oh, you just want to cast the best actor. Like when everybody's trying to cast Idris Elba as James Bond. Okay, that's
Yeah,
an example. You just want to get the best actor. Okay, but you get someone that's the wrong shade of black, and it's like, oh nope, not black
yeah.
enough.
It's
And
not.
I don't
It's
know. I just
it's not even like they got someone like white to play. Like Eric here is
yeah,
Eric here is a black man. It's just
I would
he's
have never guessed that he would have been called light skinned or too light skinned.
yeah, like he looks dark. He looks lighter in some photos. I think it's a lot of lighting. Like he didn't look that dark and that light in Rebel Ridge as I see in some of the press photos.
Yeah.
But yeah, the I thought I didn't think I personally I didn't care about his skin tone. His skin tone. I just thought he was too pretty. you know, that was my only thing. I thought he was too pretty for Jon Stewart. I didn't think he was too light. I just thought he was too pretty. But in terms of like performance, yeah, if you're comparing it, like, 'cause from what we saw, there was it was between him and two others, the guy from Snowfall, and I think Stephen James was his name. And if that's who it was down to, which is apparently was, I think Aaron Pierre by far was the better actor out of them, especially after seeing his performance in Rebel Ridge. I thought that really put it over the top. So I'm perfectly fine with him getting that role. He proved me wrong with that performance, because I was able to overlook the fact that he's a little too pretty and just focus on the performance. I thought he played that Jon Stewart role really well, and I thought it would have been silly to not cast him just because he's like a half shade lighter than
Yeah.
the runner up. I think that sort of thing is silly, and I'm glad that whenever that controversy happens, it completely gets ignored, and
Yeah.
for the most part, it made fun of. Like it never goes anywhere.
Yeah. I saw it pop up in my feed, and I was just like, really? I thought everybody would be pretty happy about this, and
Yeah,
but then I remember like even what's her face, that was Kamala Khan, like even she went through stuff because she's
yeah,
not actually Pakistani, and you can only hire somebody from Pakistan or of Pakistani descent to be Kamala Khan.
yeah. Yeah. So I think it's all silly. That's why. Uh, I'm glad that these sort of things mostly don't go anywhere outside of Twitter. Like from what I looked at, most of the comments were people excited. Apparently, a lot of people saw Rebel Ridge and really enjoyed it. The news I thought overall was good, and I don't think this will go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking for it. I feel like it was more actual concern about potentially Kyle Chandler being being Hal Jordan, because I think some people just had their heart set on someone younger, but it's clear like they're going for like a kind of, since this is basically like a cop show with lanterns, they're going with the, Hal Jordan's the kind of the older grizzled veteran, and John is going to be like the younger recruit.
Yeah, but
That's
you can have Hal be the grizzled veteran and be like a 40-year-old dude, not have some geriatric guy that's going to age out of the role. Like, all right, so let's hope that the show does well and that we're going to get like, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, you know. Um like what happens when he's like almost 70, you know?
well. Let's slow it down first. For
No, I get it, but like I look ahead because like you're gonna have these guys like age out, and you can't like what's the point of having this show if you're not gonna have Hal Jordan, like
I mean, I don't.
the most famous and best Lantern.
Let's be real. The odds of this going 7 seasons. Come on, even because even if it's really good, there's like diminishing returns once you start getting, once you hit season 3. I feel like that's when it's like, okay, you might want to wind it down or whatever. But I feel like they're starting with the lanterns so that they can kind of establish it, because Max is really known for his TV, so kind of establish it as a springboard for movies rather than have like a permanent Hal Jordan.
No shit, okay? I understand there are more lanterns and they can all be in the show, but Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern. Like, he is the preeminent Green Lantern. He is, by their own standards, the ultimate Green Lantern. He should be around forever
But
in
I
this show.
but I think in the case of remember, this is James Gunn's DCU,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing, because so far we've got John, Hal, and Guy. Maybe we'll get another Lantern, but it seems like he wants John Stewart to be the future of the Lanterns rather than retread. Go through the
I
Hal
don't
Jordan.
have that's not my problem. My problem is that like you're going to have like the whole point of the Green Lanterns is there is so many of them, and you can focus on John. You can send John out in all the Superman movies and the Justice League movies. That's fine. But like if you're gonna do this show, you should have, and you're gonna have Hal Jordan in it. You should keep him in it. Like there shouldn't, like I don't, like it's whatever. I
If
mean,
if
it's
if,
stupid.
if they, I'm sure they could get 10 years out of Kyle if it goes that well. So I'm not particularly worried about it. I mean, he looks pretty good for 59.
Okay.
I mean, Henry Cavill is 40 and he looks like a demigod.
Yeah,
Like,
but like like Superman like can look 40. Like that's not a problem.
yeah, but
And if they
Henry
cast a 40-year-old, I'd be okay with it.
Henry Cavill's going to look 40 for like 20 years. Like he's like there's some people who just age, really well. I mean, Robert Downey's still going strong. Kyle Chandler is one of those guys that ages pretty well. I don't think I think if they could get him for the next 10 years, I think that's reasonable. I think he'll still be acting and perfectly capable in 10 years. But I do think they're going to focus more on John, and maybe introduce another Lantern rather than it just being mostly about Hal. That's just my
Well, I mean, they've had
interpretation.
a lot of different newer Lanterns, like Simon Baz, and I can't think of couple female Lanterns that were all there, and they're all of like different nationalities and whatever. Like they've had a bunch of them lately, and I'm fine if they're in there too, and Kyle Rayner and like all of them.
You're already aging like garbage, Hyrule. No, I think I'm gonna let James Gunn cook on this because he's so far has made the right decision by prioritizing John Stewart, the best Green Lantern. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm curious to see Guy how he turns out in the Superman movie, which I was talking about this in my video. I'm looking forward to the Superman movie, but there is going to be a lot of pressure on Gunn. I think the casting so far has done well, but there were some people who were just under the impression that the movie didn't have to do that well in order to keep the DCU going, which is just unfortunately just absolutely not true. I think I said in my video that WB is going to want Superman to do $1 billion, and if it's 800 million, I think that's going to be considered a disappointment. But if it's like 600, that's a disaster for them. That's going to be really bad.
I think worldwide Superman will hit $1 billion. I don't see any reason. Like, I think it'll do really well. I can't imagine it not.
Yeah, I think especially where it's positioned, I think it's going to be a summer. We're already seeing kind of like the hype building. We might have like an opera, like a Barbieheimer situation here, because during that whole there's like a whole 3-week run where it's like you got the new Jurassic Park movie, which always does well. There's a new I Know What You Did Last Summer. There's a Trey Parker and Matt Stone project. There's Superman, and then there's Fantastic Four First Steps, like right after that.
Wow. I just like, I like to like kind of keep looking through Twitter to see if anything happens. Do you know who Kai Cenat?
Kai Cenat, yeah.
Do you know who his guest is right now?
Who?
John Cena.
That's random.
I know. So yeah, word life,
Thugonomics. Kai's doing big things. I just saw his McDonald's commercial. That's a big deal. He's promoting the chicken Big Mac, which not bad. I went out and tried it, to support Kai, and it tastes like a Big Mac with chicken.
I actually kind of like him.
Oh, that's good to know. He's very likable. I don't watch a lot of his. I watch a little bit of his streams. I watch some of the clips, but mostly I usually watch more of him and AMP on YouTube than Twitch. But I think he's really good. I respect what he does. He's like really talented.
I've seen like all of his reactions to the like Drake and Kendrick stuff.
Of course.
I don't know a ton about him, but I've seen stuff, and I've also seen like, because I watch those videos, I get like recommended 10 times Kai Cenat put celebrities in their place and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I also remember like apparently the Harris campaign came to him. He's like, I don't want anything to do with you guys. I don't know anything about politics, and I don't want anything to do with this. So leave me alone.
Yes, smart man. He said that. Yeah, Aiden Ross. He jumped right into it. Because he does more culture war stuff anyway nowadays. But he had Trump on that big podcast, Call Her Daddy, had Kamala on.
Yeah.
Flagrant had Trump on. Good for Kai, just staying out of it, just focus on being entertaining.
I'm only aware of is it Call Me Daddy or Call Her Daddy? Call Me Daddy?
Call Her Daddy. I would never call you daddy.
Yeah. I'm only aware of that because she was on Barstool at one point, and there was like a huge controversy over her like walking out and everything. So I've never actually, and so there's this guy named Kirk Minahan who is also at Barstool, and he is like my favorite radio guy, and probably the biggest reason I watch anything on Barstool. He was a local Boston guy on sports talk radio.
Fuck Boston. Sorry,
yeah,
reflex.
And he made fun of her so much. It was, even while she was there, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know nothing about her other than that there was a controversy with her Barstool, and that it's a very popular podcast. So I know geared towards women. I have no, I've never listened to it. Never.
It's awful. It's like just it is the whitest girl podcast ever.
So it's probably not as good as the Hawk Tour girls Talk to a podcast.
I guarantee you she's better. Let me just say something else. A lot of people talk shit about that girl, and
I have nothing but respect for her.
I really like. Yeah, like she like. Yeah, all right.
She got
famous off a meme.
I heard that's like literally the number 3 podcast.
Yeah, but like I saw people bitching about her on Twitter recently, like because I think she just signed a deal with like either Kick or Twitch or something, and it's like, oh, I work so hard, and she just makes a meme, and she gets all this, and like, what are you supposed to do? Like this happened, and she got an opportunity, and she's made the most of it, and she donates so much money to like different charities that for like animal shelters and stuff. Like she got the chance and she took advantage of it, like all of us would.
But
you know,
there's nothing more cringe to me than like content creators who aren't as successful as they want to be, who bitch about how hard they work. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. Like
literally not a soul cares. Like it does not matter how hard you work. Hard and odds are they don't work that hard. But like the world doesn't owe you anything because you worked hard. That's meaningless.
Like honestly, most people that like get ahead, it's pure luck, you know.
Like some people you get luck, but luck is also opportunity plus preparation is what they say. And she was in the right, she was out she wasn't sitting in her house ordering Uber Eats, doom scrolling on TikTok. She was out on the town with her friend, and she was in a position. She honed her personality over the years, and her Hawk Tua skills. So she had it locked and ready to go. And just so happened a content creator approached her on the street trying to farm her for content by asking weird questions about her sex life, and she took that meme and turned it into a career.
And the hilarious part is he got nothing out of it.
He got nothing.
Like literally nobody knows who that guy is.
Literally no idea. I don't even remember what he looks like.
I mean, I remember. I think he was black.
I know he's like I think he's a short black guy. That's all I remember.
Yeah, that's all I remember too. I think. So I don't know, and I hate that kind of content too. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't think there's anything. The content I hate the most is the people that do like the side by side videos, and they're watching somebody else's video, and they're just like,
those reaction, that genre of reaction video is so great. Just like that's not transformative.
And there's nothing remotely talented about that. It's cringe, but like stupid people watch it. What are we gonna do? It doesn't matter that I worked 6 hours putting together where to find all the KFC buckets in Funko Fusion video, and it only got 10,000 views. Like Doesn't matter. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. Okay,
I mean,
people are gonna watch what they want to watch.
10,000 views is pretty good, especially for Funko Fusion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I definitely have had some videos do okay with that, but you know, that was honestly probably the video I would say out of like every video I've ever worked on, probably one of the ones I worked the longest and hardest on. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I've adopted the mindset of when it comes to content creation of work smarter, not harder, because there's nothing more demoralizing than spending like a long time working on a
right.
video and then it just doesn't hit the way you thought thought it would.
Yeah, no, I like I'm fine with it. Actually, it doesn't have to. That one has a little over 5,000. But I mean, I've got a few
Yep.
that did well. So I mean, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. I
Jay absolutely loves Spark and Zero.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's the worst fucking game I've ever played.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm not doing? Other than jokingly, I'm not like going up and down everybody's tweets that's enjoying it, saying this game fucking sucks. Fuck you, man. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that take note. That's
Like,
how you handle a game
like
that
I'll
you
joke
don't
around.
enjoy.
I'll joke around with some people, you know, like, but like I'm not ever going to
Tell
like
someone not to play it or they're
yeah,
bad.
like the game's problems are me. And yes, mad because bad. Sure. All
Skill
right.
issue. But
I
yeah.
absolutely never I think I played one of those games like 7 or 8 years ago
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like a half hour. I knew then that I did not like the style, the way that you fly around and fight each other. I
Yeah.
hated
100%.
it.
What? Yeah.
And
100%.
I was not going to get this game, but a code showed up in my inbox
Well, there you
against my will.
go.
And I decided, all right, well, I'm not going to kick a gift horse in the mouth. Maybe I can get some content out of it.
I got some
And
enjoyment. I got some enjoyment out of watching you play it.
And I'm okay with that, okay? Because I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was probably going to struggle, but it brings me joy to know that other people that do play that game are also struggling against it. And I got a kick out of Bob, his tweet this
He hated.
morning.
Yeah, he hated it too.
Yeah,
He wasn't having fun too. I'm glad at least that people got content out of it because one of the controversies with Sparking Zero was that there was like a bunch of content creators bitching because there were smaller creators and they were crying because big creators got access to the game early
yes,
and were releasing the content that they recorded and
that's how it works.
yes, that's literally how it works. I was like, oh, first time.
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Like nothing drives me. Speaking of things that drive us crazy, people that like, well, what about the smaller creators? Listen, okay, nobody's entitled to anything. I'm not
Yeah,
entitled to
at
anything.
all. No,
Okay,
literally
like
no one cares.
no one cares. Okay, like you get opportunity by like making a name for yourself, and you don't even have to be a big creator. It's
You don't.
a lot of luck. Okay, like
It's a lot of networking too, which they also
exactly.
don't want to do. It's like
Exactly, and that's why I'm driving myself to New York Comic Con.
100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
to
I have an
meet
opportunity to
people.
go rub elbows with the Funko people.
Hmm.
I already know Arthur Parsons, and I'm very happy to see him again for the first time in a while.
Yep.
But like I don't know the Funko people, and it'll be good to have FaceTime with them. And that is how you do it. It's being available, being able to do things. I was supposed to go to New York Friday. That got canceled, and I got invited to a West Coast version of the same thing. But it's one of the very few times I've ever had to say no, because I just did not. I I have way too much good stuff going on
Yep.
this week to be flying back
Good
and forth
problems.
from the West Coast. But part of the reason I always say yes is actually no, I don't get their money. I get YouTube money.
Yeah.
But regardless, but part of the reason I always say yes to these things is because it's a matter of like being there, being seen, meeting people.
Yep.
And that's how I've gotten to meet a lot of different people that I otherwise wouldn't have. We had a guest on shit, what's his face? I'm embarrassed now. Cleef Adams.
Yeah.
All right, we had him on because I met him at events and we, built a good rapport, and that's how we were able to get him on. That's how these things happen. And it's no one's fault that you don't have that experience, but you can't just create a channel and say, I'm here now, give me things.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
Doesn't work that way.
that's not how it works. Because even large creators aren't guaranteed opportunities. Sometimes it is just luck, and sometimes just mostly just comes down to who you know. Like I haven't been into these networking events, but I knew that if I wanted to start getting these opportunities, I was going to have to start creating some for myself. So I would do things like, oh, if they're getting access to this game early, all right, well, I know when the previews are going to go up, so I could just do reaction content to their previews. I know that just making videos aren't going to get their attention, so let me find out who's in charge of influencer relations. What's the name of the PR company? What contact can I find? What email can I find to put myself out there and give myself opportunities? And because of that, I was able to get a lot of free games from a lot of big companies, because I put myself in position to get these opportunities rather than just waiting for it to just fall into my lap.
Yeah, and the biggest piece of advice I can give to any of these people is when you're doing that type of stuff, when you're like following all these like influencer managers and stuff like that, you cannot make every contact with them. Hey, I'm a creator and this is my channel. You have to like treat them like people. And you should be proud of 330. That's awesome.
That is very awesome.
Like,
Congratulations.
but yeah, like it's you have to treat them like people. I almost never talk business on Twitter. Like never. Like I'm gonna just interact with these people. And I think that's how I got the opportunity with Pokemon, because like I'm not a big Pokemon creator. But their influencer manager follows me, and I've had lots of really great interactions with him over the years. There was a preview for Scarlet and Violet,
Mhm.
and he did hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, I have a last minute opportunity. I think you're in New York City area, right?" I'm like, "I'm in Boston. I mean, I could drive there." And he goes, "No, you wouldn't be able to get here in time." But like he's looked out for me because he knows I'm a genuine person that is going to like do good by them, that they
Mhm.
can trust. And like you learn that when you just treat them like people, and they like can see that what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That is yeah, obviously, build yourself a good brand, do all that good stuff. But beyond that, once you're established as a creator, if you want to get those opportunities, you gotta meet people. You gotta learn how to promote yourself, and gotta know how to make friends with people. That's going to be the key. I guarantee you, just sitting there complaining on Twitter that somebody got an opportunity that you did, it's not going to get you down. It's not going to
No,
get
it's gonna
you.
do the exact. It's gonna do the exact opposite.
Literally, yeah,
Like nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear that. Like people just want to be treated normal.
like I
And
literally I've heard that directly from people who work in influencer relations. If they see an influencer bitching on Twitter that they didn't get opportunity, or that someone else got it, is not fair, they put them on the list like, we're not working with you. Like, so just keep that in mind. Speaking of gaming, Mr. Blast.
real quick, do what makes you comfortable. One of my favorite creators that I work with all the time, Pack Attack. He's almost at 6 million subscribers, and he's never said a single word on any video he's ever posted. So just make the content that makes you happy. Like people, while we're on this,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice to be able to turn this into a career, no doubt about it. But like you have to be happy doing it. You have to be genuine, and like just be yourself, make what makes you happy. And if things happen, they happen. It's not meant to be for everybody.
Yeah, what I'm saying, like this is definitely a business that you're going to get out what you put in, if you're like intentional and focused on it. Yeah, I had a very specific plan when I decided to get into content creation mostly on a whim. I thought it was potentially a convenient way to make some side hustle cash. but I dove into all the stuff that all the boring stuff that no one's going to want to take the time to learn. Oh, well, I don't know how do you edit it? Well, what mic do you need? Oh, what's what's SEO mean? How do you title a video? What's the best ratios on like all this other stuff that no one's going to bother to look into because they just think it content creation is easy, and I was able to make something out of it. So it's gonna be different for everyone, but yeah, the probably the most important thing I did at the start was decide my niche. I knew right away, okay, I love games. It's not something I'm going to get bored of, and I love superhero stuff. So I I stuck. So that I ended up leading off with that, and that's going to steer me in the right direction because those are general. Even if I wasn't make any money, those are things that I'd still be playing video games. I'd still be watching superhero content. So so, it, so that's kind of what you should be thinking of if you're thinking of getting into content creation. But now we have to transition over, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Shockblast. Ruined my perfect transition, but we're
I'm
still
sorry.
there. We're still there because speaking of superhero games, we we got we got some updates this week about one of our favorite studios, Mr. Shockblast, WB Games Montreal.
Yeah.
They
I've been there.
Yeah, he's literally been there. He got his Gotham Knights content recorded over there, which I generously co-opted for my own uses.
If it was anybody else, I'd be a little bit more upset.
But don't worry, I made good use of it, and shout out JayShockblast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we enjoy Gotham Knights. We've been waiting for them to get back on track because for a couple years now there have been reports that they had another unannounced game, potentially a Superman game in development, but they had some issues. Like after Gotham Knights, mysteriously they lost like their top three people, like their creative director, game director, and head producer, all basically left within the same week. Gotham Knights was abandoned, and last we heard was that they were just trying to hire a head of the studio, creative director. They were just working as a support studio helping Monolith with Wonder Woman. But looks like WB Games Montreal is back on track. A month ago, they hired Yves Lachance from Bethesda. Formerly, he used to run Bethesda back starting in 2015, left in 2024, and now he's running WB Games Montreal. They're currently hiring for various positions, including a producer for some new DC games. They're looking to develop some multiple DC games. That's just like their plan going forward. Not We knew they had one game in development that was based on a popular IP, but now we know for sure that they are focusing on DC video games right now. And I say more power to them. I thought that they're a very talented studio. People obviously a lot of people enjoy Arkham Origins. We both like Gotham Knights. Thought that it had a lot of potential, but though I feel like the one thing that was holding W Games Montreal back was like kind of their management, because they're clearly a talented studio. Like you see when they actually do get out of a game, you can see the talent shine through, but they also cancel a lot of games. Like they canceled the Damian Wayne game. They were originally going to make a Suicide Squad game. They canceled that. There's a couple other games they were poorly canceled before they finally got to Gotham Knights. And then even Gotham Knights, you could tell that development didn't go according to plan because they canceled last gen support 5 months before launch. They didn't have the 60 FPS mode. They started on a loot system, but kind of just didn't finish it. So they had a bunch of cut content as well. It looked like they had the potential to have multiple DLCs, but they only ended up doing those two. They definitely could have had more. They could have had Catwoman DLC. They could have had Two-Face. There was a bunch of other stuff they could have done, but it just felt kind of like they were just struggling management wise. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Lachance does now that he's in charge.
Yeah, I hope it is out of Gotham, like no Gotham, off the table. Since we probably know that that's what Rocksteady's next game is going to go right back to. And I kind of don't blame them though, because like I kind of do and I kind of don't. I don't want to see like all these people. Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of want to see like these people not get rewarded for being jackasses, but at the same time, it's safe, and WB needs safe, as in general. So, if you're gonna whip out another Arkham game, I guess just do it. But I mean, are we just gonna pretend Suicide Squad didn't happen?
They could at least do Batman Beyond.
Yeah, but for some reason, I don't like. I don't think they want to do that, and I don't know why. That's that I got this Transformers Galactic Trials game today, and at first I was a little annoyed with it, but it has no business being as fun as it is. It's super basic. Like it's nothing like to like write home about, but it's a $40 game, and I don't know, it's actually kind of fun.
I saw you got super copyrighted on it though.
Oh my god, yeah. So I turned the music all the way down to 2 for now. We'll see how that goes. My second video only got 1 hit once, so I don't know.
But yeah, I totally agree. Like they definitely seem like they're scared and going to play it safe. But I think my hope for Gotham Knights, a follow up for that would be Teen Titans. I think they would do that really well, obviously. But the dream is obviously Superman. I think they need to just get that out the way. Just give people what they want.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would like to see WB find a big studio with a good track record that's willing to pay a licensing fee to make Superman. I don't know what history like WB Montreal has with Flight. I feel like I don't necessarily think it's the most like difficult thing in the world to do necessarily, but
Right.
I would like to see, like, I don't feel like they need to handle Superman. I feel like you can get literally any studio in the world I would think want to do Superman if they had the opportunity.
You would think, but it doesn't seem like that many have jumped at the opportunity. So who knows? But there was actually some chatter, Jay, if you will, because I mentioned this in my video, but the DC fandom was a little chatty because it looked like James Gunn had followed Alana Pierce on Instagram. Of course, she's a popular creator and game dev, works at Santa Monica.
Once starred in a video with me.
Yes, indeed. And people were like, "Oh, he's following her on Instagram now. Oh, I wonder what's going on there." So, and there was that rumor that apparent from the Xbox era podcast that Sony was actually sniffing around WB and trying to get in the DC business. That rumor specifically came from Nick, and he mentioned that potentially they were trying to get the next Rocksteady Batman game as a PlayStation exclusive. But in general, it sounds like, and the CEO alluded to this, that they had been getting WB had been getting offers from outside companies looking to license, and that's something that we're going to look into doing. So if PlayStation is indeed sniffing around, then it looks like that's potentially something that could happen. They can, they've done really well with the Marvel stuff, so I think it definitely makes sense for PlayStation to jump into the DC gaming business.
Yeah, I listen. I understand everybody's saying Batman Ninja because of my super amazing idea and joke, but I obviously don't think that'll ever happen. So that's not even an actual.
Never say never, Jay.
It's not even an actual dream for me.
Never underestimate how much they're willing to milk Batman.
Yeah, but you know, I would really. I don't know if Green Arrow is like popular enough
Yes,
anymore.
yes. Green
I would
Arrow,
love a Green Arrow game.
fucking Green Arrow. Let's not forget, Jay. Green Green Arrow started an entire cinematic universe on his own because of how fucking peak he is, and it was on the CW no less. Green Arrow is so cool. He made people actually care about the CW.
I want to say this. Part of my whole pitch was this is free.
Yes,
I don't want anything, you know, but
just maybe a wink and a nod in the credits.
yeah, exactly.
But
And I do think like, can you imagine an anime style, like, we all know what the anime style art style type game is. Like, can you even imagine like a Batman Ninja game? Like, honestly, like,
yeah,
in that, like the anime, like that art style, I feel like that would be such a cool different game,
it
and
would
I
be.
think it would work.
I have no doubt it would be an amazing game. But I would fight against it tooth and nail because I'm tired of Batman getting all the games.
No, and that's honestly, I get it. When we were on the bus, it was me, Caboose, and Uncaged Games. We're going to a dinner the night before, and we were with I don't remember her name, but she's like up there in WB, not just like
Mhm.
WB Games, but WB. Um, and we're just making all of our joke pitches and everything. And my initial pitch was a Green Lantern game. And she actually almost remembers me more for that, because I saw her at that Suicide Squad event I went to. It was trippy, like sitting next to her at the dinner and everything, and just listening to her stories about, oh yeah, because apparently she used to work for Netflix,
Ooh.
and
Oh,
she's like,
definitely a big shot.
yeah, so she's like, you know, we were down in Brazil and we had you know, Charlie was there. It was his first time in Brazil, and I can't think of Luke, Jessica and Luke Cage. I can't remember his name. Mike Coulter.
Mhm.
Mike Coulter, right?
My culture, yeah.
Yeah. So like, we had them there and they were just shocked at how huge and popular they were in Brazil. And I'm like, man, this person is like, has them in her phone right now, you know, and we're
They
just sitting here at dinner,
rubbing
you know?
elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, WB has 11 game studios. Why would they license their IP? Let me
Why not?
let me rephrase the question in a different way that will answer your question. Why would WB have all the benefits of making a game without having to spend any money, and they can just sit back and let other people make games while they collect annual fees and royalties?
You know, I mean, even Disney like started doing that, you know?
Yeah, they stopped publishing because you know, they didn't want to commit to it, you know, because it's a risk. You spend especially on AAA games, you're spending tens of millions of dollars, you know, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars trying to develop a game, hoping that it does well. Whereas licensing, someone comes up to you with an idea for a game, you you can pitch an idea for a game you want them to adapt. They spend all the money, they pay you to make it, and you take royalties, and you don't have to do anything. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's a no-brainer.
They assume all the risk.
Yeah, they take all the risk and you get all the reward. Like, doesn't.
Mortal Kombat disagrees.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat consistently made money for WB. But yeah, but yeah, they also obviously aren't going to have all 11 studios working on DC games.
MK1 was not a flop.
That would be silly. Yeah, MK1 objectively wasn't a flop. It's a game that fans of the series, you know, had some mixed opinions on,
It
but
sold.
objectively it wasn't a flop. No,
Yeah.
it's not even close to a flop.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the most popular Mortal Kombat game, but it lost it made money. It made a lot of money.
Yeah. It sold more than Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's so much Street Fighter 6 and Tekken
by
and
a
Tekken
lot.
and
Yeah.
Tekken 8.
I think both of them combined.
Yeah, like it's not even a question that Mortal Kombat games don't flop.
People just bitch about it, and I've been around the game long enough now to just understand that Mortal Kombat fans are just irrationally attached to the game, you know. And they just bitch about like every other fandom, you know. But anyway,
I'm sure there's stuff to complain about, but yeah, it's not a flop.
Yeah, but I really feel like, and maybe the time, and obviously it's not going to be an Arrow game, you know.
Never say never, Jay.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that time has passed, but I feel like they could build off of it and do a traditional Green Arrow game and just incorporate some of the Arrow stuff.
It's never too late for Green Arrow, Jay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Have faith. Obviously, Superman I think is the top priority, but a Green Arrow game would go so hard.
I also don't know. Like, obviously the Flash, you're gonna want to do something with the Flash at some point,
of course,
and I just don't know how that works. You know what I mean? I still, like, I guess you can make it like a Sonic the Hedgehog type game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The hardest part. Well, I actually did make a game pitch for the Flash.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it's one of my. I think it's currently my actually most viewed video of all time, but I do think I had my own twist and story on it, but my thing was that you definitely want to start with an origin story for one of these characters to make the progression system easier and kind of just wrap it up. But my specific pitch for the game was I was gonna do a little play on his familiar origin. The lab accident and everything like that. But I was going to have it be where he was framed for murder by Zoom, and the story plays out with him trying to adjust to his new powers while being wanted for murder, while his rogues were like attacking the city. And I was going to go with the version of his rogues gallery that had themselves enhanced, so that they actually had actual meta powers based on their attributes to make it even make them posed even more of a threat than they normally would be, and have different challenges dealing so that so that it could keep you on your toes. Like obviously Captain Cold would have the ability to potentially slow you down, so you have to be able to navigate that. And I liked how the CW did Barry's progression through the first couple seasons. They had him unlock, for instance, like new aspects of his speed through different battles. Like there was that episode where he learned the supersonic punch for the first time, because he had to overcome an enemy who was too durable for him to hurt with his normal punches. So he had to learn how to use his speed to generate more power. So I thought that's how you would kind of handle the Flash like progression in a Flash game. I think that would be more manageable, in terms of speed and giving kind of players something to chase.
On October 13th, 2024, there are still people that think the Suicide Squad died and killed the Justice League. Or, I'm sorry, Justice League died.
Yeah.
They literally never died.
Green Lantern, John Stewart and Barry Allen are literally in my Task Force X right now as we speak.
Yeah,
recovering.
Literally never died, and we all knew that was the case from day one.
Yeah, shout out to Miller for the heads up. But yeah,
I mean, not even that. Just like playing the game, you knew like
I thought the Green Lantern fight made it pretty obvious what they were doing.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see. Listen, we all want all the superhero content, Like I literally bought a freaking Transformers game today, like just because it said Transformers on it. We're desperate. I just pre-ordered a Meta Quest 3 so I could play Arkham Shadow.
Yeah, I don't even think the idea was bad to bring the Justice League back. I think this the execution isn't good. If I was in charge of and even just keeping the same idea, if we keep the entire Suicide Squad premise the same, you're trying to kill the Justice League, Brainiac. There are design decisions where you can make this exact same setup infinitely better. Like, for instance, not making the game focus on guns would open you up to having a much more interesting roster, like having Bizarro on the base roster, for example. And then in terms of how then that could also affect how you can make those rescue missions better. So instead of you fight a Brainiac clone, you recycle fight, and then they appear within a cutscene, and then you're in your inventory. Have each season be focused on you doing a rescue mission where you're going, maybe going inside the ship, maybe a certain place where they're being held, and you're playing the mission to break them out of it, and then you have the option to play as that league member during the escape, and then they'll show up back, and they can assist you in your battles going forward. And instead of just having the same Brainiac, maybe he's controlling different supervillains rather than it just being Brainiac over and over again. You're fighting other villains that are just being controlled by Brainiac rather than just fighting Brainiac. Like, there are so many ways they could have taken the same idea and just made it better, and they clearly didn't, because obviously Jamie and Scepter reportedly had no idea what they were doing, and they would just waste a lot of time.
We could be here until we're blue in the face talking about all the things they got wrong
Yeah.
with that game. So, and we have. But yeah, anyway. Thor
Yeah.
said hello to everybody.
Hello, best boy.
He hopes you're all having a good night.
We are. Taskmaster and Abomination. Yeah, I saw Rock Rider post some fan art. It's always funny when I see someone respond to just obvious Avengers fan art, and this is for Avengers 2, and there's always at least one comment: "Is this real?" Yeah. The Avengers 2 has official PlayStation 5 box art. But I definitely, as I said on Twitter, I don't actually want an Avengers 2. I want an Avengers reboot.
Yeah,
I would not want Crystal Dynamics to make another Avengers game.
yeah. I think they could do it. Like it sucks. Like, I really feel like the only, and I said this to High Roller's tweet. I really feel like the only problem that Avengers had was that it couldn't produce the content they promised. And it's almost like if they were able to put out content at the pace Suicide Squad could, I really feel like we'd still be playing the game. But they couldn't even do that.
I thought the problem with Avengers was much more foundational than that. One big problem they had from the very beginning was the decision to build the game in the Foundation engine.
Oh yeah. I understand that. I'm just talking about like
instead of Unreal.
Yeah, like I understand that, and I get that. That obviously is true as well. But I meant more like if they like, let's just pretend, even in Foundation Engine, okay, that they were just able to actually produce the content, like we'd still be playing it.
Yeah, but that's the other thing that they went wrong, is that they never really captured the end game loop, and it didn't, because I thought mistakenly tried to make it a looter, and they just didn't figure out how to have content that would make people want to stick around longer, and they also didn't find a way to properly monetize it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny, like it's wild some of the responses I got to that today too, because like somebody's like, "Oh, it was over monetized." I'm like, Not really. I feel like the monetization
It was
that was there was
they were
mostly fair.
over monetized is if you think Avengers over monetized, you're just poor.
Yeah.
that's what
I think they adjusted the prices a little bit at the end, and that made it a little
yeah.
bit better.
Yeah,
But
in the beginning the skins were overpriced but not even like egregiously so.
right,
They were standard pricing, like $15,
right.
but the skins were just bad.
Yeah.
But that's all they were monetizing. They were only monetizing cosmetics. Like over monetized me would mean an example of an over monetized game would be like NBA 2K. Like that's a game we could say is over monetized because every aspect of that game potentially is monetized. Like the entire game runs on their own virtual currency, which you need in order to increase to not only buy gear for your character if you want to make them look good, but also buy boosts that you need to perform better, to just upgrade your attributes. Like that's over monetized. Just giving away free DLC and only charging for optional cosmetics is not over monetized. Like that's silly.
Yeah. I don't know, but again, I feel like that's another conversation we've
Yeah,
had a million times. But yeah, anyway,
yeah,
I actually completely disagree with buying boosts is BS. I don't agree with that at all. I think the way that they did it after saying they never would is BS. That was the real controversy. But
yeah,
I don't have a problem with boosts. If people want to buy boosts, who cares? You're stupid if you want to spend your money on that in that game. There are plenty of ways
yeah.
to get what you need without it.
Yeah, I thought that was literally the only problem. Like people they introduced something like it was clear from the beginning when they introduced it. It was just the way they did it. Like they said, okay, if they had just said they're just introducing another optional XP boosts to the marketplace, if you want to speed up your progression, whatever. But yeah, the way they just went about it in the worst possible way. Like they nerfed XP gains, lied about why they were doing it, then they introduced the XP boosters, and then they lied about not charging for it, and then they just dropped it out of the they just dropped it without any warning right when they hit Game Pass, so they could get a influx of new players that didn't know any better.
Yeah,
That
and
that
the
was the
work
problem.
we even had a meeting with them too about it, and I don't know who asked. It might have been me. Like if it would be something that people could buy at any point, and they're like, they said then to be determined. They were they told us that there was certainly a possibility that you'd be able to buy them in the future, but at that moment in time, their only plan was to attach them to bundles. So yeah, and no, this was absolutely a Wag's idea. He
Yeah, one
brought that over from every other game he worked on.
yeah, fucking Wags, holy.
Yeah,
What a run B Wags had.
man, I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on tonight. I guess the T Wolves are playing the Knicks in preseason.
Yeah,
And Dante Di
DiVincenzo.
Vincenza. Yeah, he like went over yapping at the bench, and Rick Brunson and him got in a little bit of an altercation.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, the trade was interesting. Because when they traded for Mikal Bridges, people got excited because the whole Villanova team was
yeah,
back.
yeah,
But after he got traded, there was like reports that Dante actually wasn't like happy about it and did about the reunion, and he just kind of he wanted to leave the team anyway. So I don't know, but apparently something was going on
yeah,
over there. Got a little spicy.
yeah. Anyway, you don't need to know anything about B-Wags.
No, yeah,
Like it's just a guy that worked on like a few games, and
who
now he doesn't.
who has a very uh unpopular political opinions. We'll call it that.
Uh,
We'll call it that. Speaking of unpopular, Mr. Shockblast,
yeah,
we had Starfield drop their expansion, Shattered Space finally, and didn't go according to plan at all. Yeah, Ubisoft got to take a week off because Xbox put itself squarely back in the crosshair of gamers. Now, obviously, you were a big fan of Starfield,
Yep.
so much so that we had our first fight on the channel. But it seems like there's the consensus outside of like Xbox era, which permanently has Phil Spencer's dick down their throats. Everyone else was disappointed by Shattered Space. Currently, I think it's at like a 50 Metacritic. It's mostly negative on Steam. A lot of people had issues with it. They feel like it was very lackluster, especially a $30 price tag. Like $30, like a small expansion is fine, but yeah, 30. But I don't think you can call it an expansion if you can finish it in a couple hours. And I think part of the problem is that they released this $30 expansion a year after Cyberpunk released their $30 Phantom Liberty expansion, and God of War Ragnarok released the Valhalla expansion for free.
Yeah.
And just so when you have that shape, when that's going to shape the marketplace, whether you like it or not, and people seeing that quality, and then seeing what Starfield dropped, I think I can definitely understand. And I think whether or not you like Starfield or not, I think the bigger issue for me, as someone who never just wasn't interested in Starfield just from what I saw of it, is the response. Like, I think that's what really caused the biggest controversy. Like the interviews the director, I think the director gave, the interview that Todd Howard gave, and it kind of sounds like, and this is something I've heard from creators, behind the scenes as well, that they don't actually listen to feedback. Like they only really care about the opinions of gamers who like support their stuff, and they kind of just tune out all the negative activity because it shows based on how they responded to the backlash. Like it kind of feels like they're just completely out of touch and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't follow a lot of the stuff with that. I will say the criticism that I've seen is all fair. I tried to stream it when it launched, and I could not actually, like, in the 2+ hours I streamed, I could never get to where I needed to be. So we think it's because I was in the end game mission loop and I had to beat the game. But what happened when I beat the game is it like makes you start new game plus.
Hmm.
Like that's part of the story. And I was a little annoyed with that because that meant I had to start with nothing,
Yeah.
like no gear, and then go in to do this expansion. So I played a little bit offline and I recorded it, and I decided against posting it because it's a lot of like going place to place and talking to people, which isn't interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even imagine, like, I could post this, maybe we'll get some views, but I don't think it's worth it for me. And I did do a couple missions where I fought some things, but like I'm sure it gets deeper. Like the story is interesting enough. But yeah, I could see where people have issues with it. I don't think the price being $30 is that huge of a deal. I mean, obviously there are other games that have done things and it's better, might seem like better value, but um, I feel like I've seen enough people say that they were able to get through it in X amount of time, but I feel like that left a little bit of meat on the bones if you do it real fast. So I don't know. I do feel like it is a little lacking. Um, it's kind of like what we argue about with a lot of the new Star Wars content or even some of the Marvel Disney Plus stuff, where it's just people sitting in rooms talking to each other all the time,
Yeah.
you know? And at a certain point you tune that out, you know?
Especially if they're not saying anything interesting. Like
Yeah.
because I don't care. I've seen plenty of cool stuff where it's just people talking. Like they like Better Call Saul, one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years. A lot of sitting in rooms, a lot of talking, and not a lot of explosions or action or anything like that. But it's there's a way to tell a suspenseful, interesting story, even if you don't have a lot of CGI explosions or anything going on, and that just comes down to quality writing, which unfortunately is lacking in a lot of areas, especially with the Marvel shows and just Star Wars stuff as well. And that's why we're kind of seeing Marvel kind of take these steps behind the scenes to kind of clean things up. It's crazy to me that this whole time they were developing their Disney Plus TV shows without even a showrunner. Like like when you're hearing about the changes that they're making, it's like, oh, you mean they finally Googled how to make a TV show and started doing it. Like, what the fuck? How have you not had a showrunner until now?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Okay, I think you're gonna like this. Okay, I just saw context for what happened in that game. This is what Dante said apparently to Tom Thibodeau. Thank you for the trade, Tibbs. Thank you for the trade. That's what happens when they let you run the show. That's what happens when they let you run the show. And he's like pointing at him from the free throw line. He's yapping at him from the free throw line.
Oh,
yeah. I'm kind of petty like that, so
I like it. Well, I'm a Dante fan, so I like that he's standing on business.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. I just hate New York, so like,
True. Yeah. Yes. They in fact surprisingly we're not.
I think we talked all we need to about Shattered Space, so this is a good opportunity to kind of transition, because I know you had Agatha All Along on there.
Yeah, Agatha All Along, even though on paper we thought it would be like the worst out of all of these shows, it's actually one of the better ones. Right.
Yeah, like it works, and like what's wild about it is, like, we're sitting here talking about how the Joker is a musical and nobody wanted a musical.
Yeah.
But then Agatha has like a musical episode and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I
mean, well, the entire show was started because of a song.
Right.
Yeah. So so that works. Like, if like the people tune in for Agatha All Along were people who were singing Agatha All Along in their car and wanted to see more of it. But no, it works, I think, because it's doing a lot of stuff surprisingly that the other shows weren't. Like for one, it didn't spend too much money. Like, that's part of the reason why it's so successful compared to all the other stuff. It's doing decent viewers especially relative to its budget, very small budget. Doesn't look cheap. There's a couple times where where the CGI doesn't look the best, but it kind of works in the context of the show, because it's supposed to be kind of like this funny, campy kind of horror romp, and it just all fits together. There's a lot of practical effects, which I think Marvel should definitely go back to rather than just relying on CGI. And the cast is really good. I mean, obviously
Aubrey Plaza is so good in this.
You get Aubrey Plaza. I'm there
Yeah.
for a reason.
Catherine Hahn is really good.
Catherine Hahn's fantastic. Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza together is just unfair.
I don't know who the girl playing Jennifer Kale is, but she's really good too. Again, another one of those characters that got race swapped, but you get the best actor if that's what we're doing. At least they got that.
Yeah, and obviously the big reveal was what we kind of already knew. It was Wiccan, but the way they revealed Wiccan was definitely something that you would think they would have saved for like a kind of finale type of deal, but they got it out early.
I feel like the reason that we didn't is because this is a one shot. I don't see there being a second season.
Oh no, yeah, it was specifically designed as a one shot. Though I did hear that they were in talks to make not a sequel, not a direct sequel, but a kind of a spinoff focused on on Wanda's other kid.
Speed.
Yeah, so that might come of it. But yeah, there's not going to be an Agatha All Along season 2 for sure. It will by design, but I think we'll definitely see more of some of these characters, especially Aubrey Plaza, because of who she is.
I feel like if you're gonna do like Speed, you just save him in a way for Young Avengers, because I'm pretty sure Speed was in Young Avengers.
Yeah, and we did hear that they've been working on the Young Avengers. Obviously, they set it up at the end of the Marvels for well, to be fair, a lot of people didn't watch the Marvels, but they they did set it up in the post credit scenes at the end of that. Kamala was running around recruiting, and she recruited Kate Bishop.
I know Kristen Ritter is back, but I don't know. I think she's just gonna be teased in Born Again.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's going to be a tease, but it sounds like they'll eventually bring her back. Marvel did a complete 180 on Daredevil Born Again, like for the better. I think that show's going to be amazing. They pretty much scrapped. I heard they were like 4 episodes deep, and then they just someone looked at it and said, nope, this is dog shit. And fired everybody, scrapped all the episodes, and had them start over, and just brought everyone from the Netflix that they could find back. Said, no.
As they should. There was a formula there with that, and it worked beautifully, and everybody loved it. And I just feel like they got too far away from it.
Yeah, get back to basics. Same with Deadpool and Wolverine. Get back to basics. Get characters that people like. Get creatives who like the characters, understand the source material, and just generally just give a shit and let them work. and good things will happen. So yeah, I think Star Wars is pretty much cooked, but I think Marvel. I think we're going to get some good stuff from Marvel going forward. I think especially after they get out the stuff that's already been made. I think we're going to start seeing the quality go back up. Obviously, Daredevil Morgan is going to be amazing. I think Ironheart's going to be a fucking disaster. It looks really bad from that trailer, but apparently, Iron Armor Wars just never happening. I hear the Thunderbolts. There's a current leak that Thunderbolts is setting up a World War Hulk movie. They're gonna introduce Amadeus Cho into it as well, much to Jay's excitement. Thunderbolts looks surprisingly good trailer. Those reshoots seem to do the trick. I'm looking forward to seeing how they put that one together. I think those might be surprisingly good. I'm always skeptical about new Fantastic Four movies, but fingers crossed this one's good.
Yeah. I think it's going to be good.
I'm more excited about the James Gunn's DCU right now, but I think Marvel is definitely on the right track, turning things around. Obviously, they're leaning heavily into Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. We'll see. I mean, he's a great actor.
They're saying that he's going to be in the movie the most.
Yeah.
For that much money, he better be.
Oh yeah, $40 million for
yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We already talked about last episode. I think we talked about the people that were allegedly cast as Nova, possibly Rich and Sam. I don't know. I'll believe all of it when I see it, when it actually happens.
Yeah.
But
there's also supposed to be a Silver Surfer potentially spinoff movie or some kind of project happening. I'm hearing that the Silver Surfer cast in Fantastic Four, the female version, is going to die pretty quickly.
Oh, good.
so Ruth Langmore apparently is not going to last too long from what the leaks are saying, but I think I think the Fantastic Four movie could be good. The score is obviously amazing. I love the score. Giacchino always cooks, and I think there's a good. I'm definitely going to enjoy that 3 week period in the summer. I don't think I'm going to see the Jurassic Park movie, but I'm definitely going to see Superman, and I'm definitely going to see Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I really have been trying to get out to see Transformers 1. I just haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably going to watch that on digital, but
Yeah.
yeah. But everyone I've heard said it's really good, and as opposed to Joker 2, which pretty much everyone says is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that the Joker 2 dropped 90% in its second week.
And that's already from a dog shit number.
Yeah, it already opened lower than the Marvels, the worst MCU movie
And
in
honestly,
history.
they deserve it. They honestly deserve it because like everybody said don't do it. Like everybody said, "Oh, it's going to be a musical." That sounds awful.
Yeah,
Okay?
please don't do this.
And then like I just think of like what is it, Todd Phillips?
Yeah,
Like he comes out and he's like, "Oh, it isn't even really the Joker." You know? And it's like, "No, you are taking the one thing about that first movie that everybody appreciated and held on to, and you're trying to take it away when everybody is telling you that is like what made the movie for them and what made
yeah.
it special, and you're trying to diminish it because what?
Is
Your
he
ego?"
literally his ego? Like he wanted to make this high art movie or whatever, and because he apparently doesn't like DC, he doesn't like comic characters, and he just wanted to use the IP to tell his passion project, and he got pissed off that the fans love the Joker aspect of the project, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you."
But like, if we take all the Joker aspect out of the first movie, okay, and it's just a movie about a guy named Arthur Fleck, and there's no clown involved, there's no it's Joker, none of that. I think that still would have been a good movie. And if you want to
Yeah,
tell that story without using the
yeah,
IP
I think it would have been a
because
great
it's
movie.
pointless.
It wouldn't have made $1 billion, but
Right. But if you want to use the IP, you have to own the IP.
yeah,
You know? Like that the Joker is who the Joker is. You can't like not make him that, you know? And I just like you get what you fucking deserve.
yeah. Everything I'm hearing about that was like a fucking disaster. Like I heard, yeah, obviously he didn't originally plan for a sequel, but yeah, they backed. Uh, they tried to say. I think he said Joaquin Phoenix had an idea for a sequel and approached him about it. Obviously, WB walked up to him and said, "Hey, that made $1 billion. So here's a lot of money. Make another one." And and he accepted it. But yeah, they didn't have James Gunn wasn't involved at all. They didn't have any test screenings, which is insane. And apparently, Christopher Nolan had told him in the first one not to have Joker, Arthur carve his face because he thought that only Heath Ledger's Joker should have that, and Todd Phillips respected it in the first one and just said "fuck you" in the second one. So, and just did it anyway. I'm just like, uh, it definitely deserves the bomb. I definitely think going forward, people are going to look at Todd Phillips very differently. I mean, to be fair, he's not known for having really good sequels, but this one was definitely bad even for him in a way that I think is going to follow him because anyone can make a bad movie, anyone can make a bomb, but I think the way in which he did it
Yeah.
is going to not only make studios wary of him,
Yeah.
but he pissed off a lot of fans.
Right. Yeah, and you can't shake that. Like
Yeah,
and in Hollywood is not forgiving at all.
no,
Like if the talk of like the intentionally tanking like is even like a sniff of it is true, like why would anybody trust him with their money?
yeah, it's like you're oh you she you're just going to set hundreds of millions of dollars on fire. Okay, fuck, well, we're not going to give you the money then.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when if you hear that Todd Phillips has another movie, if you're a fan of, if you like the first Joker, which a lot of people did, you know, if you hear Todd Phillips has a new movie, how likely are you going to watch it? Now, even if you didn't like the Joker, like you hear about Joker 2 and you see Todd Phillips' name attached to it, you're like, I'm not. I don't know about this one. This might the Joker 2 is a piece of shit. I don't think I want to see this next one.
You know, it's tough. That would be interesting. I don't know, but there were no test screenings, so like I don't know. I think they just trusted him. You know.
Yeah, because I think because WB was in a situation where it's like, okay, their financials are burning down around them. The DCU has completely failed, and like the only like big only their only $1 billion movies at that point was the first Aquaman and Joker, which wasn't even part of the DCU. So they're like, I think they were just like, okay, well, we gotta do something. Obviously we're trusting James Gunn. We'll let him cook, but you know, Aquaman made $1 billion, has to get a sequel. Joker made $1 billion, has to get a sequel, and it is like, all right, we'll because obviously they probably weren't in touch anyway. So it's like, oh, well, they obviously know something we don't. They made $1 billion, so let's trust them. And they trusted Phillips, and holy shit, did that not go well at all? Yeah, Aquaman 2 tanked as well. This makes this actually the 6th flop in a row for DC.
Yeah, but it's wild though, like because I feel like Aquaman flopped because of the whole Amber Heard thing in some.
It definitely played a role for sure.
And I just feel like a lot of people just hate the things that, I don't know, man. Like it's just weird to me, like the things that people are willing to like tank shit for, you know? Like
But
I get it if you don't like Amber Heard, but she was barely in the movie. Like they were at a point where they couldn't.
Partially because of the controversy, like a big part of that because of controversy. But.
Yeah, but like at a certain point, it's like, all right, I understand that there's one person that like didn't do the greatest of things, but like there's also hundreds of other people that worked on that movie that did nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it is what it is. The person's there. You do what you can, but like
I understand that perspective, but but consumers obviously they don't give a shit. It's a product. It's as they shouldn't. It's a product. They're deciding whether or not they want to spend their money on that product. They made a decision that they don't want to. And even the first Aquaman, I thought kind of was lightning in a bottle because it didn't even do that well domestically. It just had an unexpected surge overseas that carried it to $1 billion. So I don't think the sequel was destined to do that well anyway. Because I thought Aquaman was okay. You know, I like Jason Momoa, but I didn't think it was like, oh, this is definitely a $1 billion movie. Like when I saw Deadpool Wolverine, I was like, obviously this is a $1 billion movie. Just from the concept of it, I'm like, obviously this is a $1 billion movie. That became clear to me from the first trailer. But I watched Aquaman, I was like, it was fine, but I don't think it was anything really special per se. And that I think that was reflective of the second one. Like, yeah, it didn't get that huge surge of overseas sales, and it was another flop.
I had a really good experience with the first Aquaman movie. I got to go see an early screening in New York City. I actually got flown down for that one. That was really cool. And I actually watched with like there's a big group, and I sat with Comic Storian and his wife. So that is always something that I will remember.
Oh, definitely rest in power, the Comic Storian.
Yeah. And he was a really good dude. I had met him before that night. And that's why obviously we kind of linked up and ended up like sitting with each other for the movie. But yeah, that was a really cool night. We just kind of hung out, watched the movie, talked about it after. Everybody went to dinner together after, and it was really cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not flown out to see Aquaman. I just saw it in my regular.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I always remember this too, because it was at like one of the big AMC theaters right near Times Square.
Yeah.
And right when I walked out, there was this massive, huge like display on one of the buildings for Dragon Ball Broly.
The Broly, Super Broly movie.
Yeah, something like that. Like I just distinctively remember walking out to that huge bright display.
I saw that one theaters as well, packed. Very, very fun. Love that movie.
Yeah. So anyway, we're talking about comic historian who unfortunately passed away over the summer. Yeah, it's tough, man. New York Comic Con coming up. I had it pop up in my feed. The first 2001. I ran into Benny. It was the first one after COVID, and I ran into him. And we chatted for a while. I mean, he's a good guy. I've met a lot of people at a lot of events, and he always like saw me, came and talked to me, and like treated me good. You know what I mean? I, popped up in his chat once when he was streaming. I want to say Avengers actually, and he's like, "Oh, JayShockblast," and so I always like appreciated that.
Definitely sound like a Benny thing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like, you go to these things and there are people that you meet and you think, "Oh, we hit it off great," and then ghost you, you know what I mean?
Never from again.
Yeah, and like I'm not going to sit here and act like him and I were like best friends. He didn't ever follow me back or anything, and that's fine. I don't care. But like still like we interacted still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was always cool.
Yeah, whenever you deal with influencers and anything like that, there's always going to be people who just are just polite, just to show, they just put on appearances,
right?
That they don't actually care. Actually,
yeah, like I believe in like professional courtesies and stuff. Like I'll follow back if I see a creator that is that I know and I'm aware of, and like they follow me, I'm like, oh, I'll give you a follow back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like that, I feel like that's a good thing to do. Yeah. So actually, it's funny, dude. Like, a lot of the actors from Heels have been like liking my posts, and one of the people followed me. Actually,
you should get some of them on, preferably Stephen Amell. But
yeah,
that was
Mike O'Malley, which was the guy that ran FC Florida Dystopia Wrestling.
Oh, he's a really good actor. I like him.
Yeah, he actually followed me. And like comment on one of my tweets.
We gotta get him on the podcast. I Netflix.
He's actually from here.
Please, Netflix. I know you're not listening to this, but please give it a season 3. I was watching Stephen Amell on the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
The True Lex Luthor, and yeah, he was mentioning he was talking about how he's doing the new season of Suits in LA, which is going to be peak, but he mentioned that Netflix took on Heels and they put it on just to see how it did, but there's definitely a very distinct possibility of it getting picked up by Netflix.
Dude, I finally got through it, and that you can't leave me there.
Yeah,
like
that finale
got so good.
That was an insane finale,
and I just can't. I can't be left there.
No, we got to see more. I literally only watched it because Stephen Amell was in it, and he was talking about it a lot on the podcast, and I'd heard about it before. I heard it was good, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot.
I think I told you that I watched it and it was really good, and Amell was on it. I think that might have had a little bit to do with it.
Literally nothing.
He always tries to like play down my influence.
Literally the only reason I watched it is because I love Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
But what pushed me over the edge was me watching him on the Inside of You podcast talking about Heels and how Netflix took it on, and he was doing Suits LA and everything like that. That's what gave me the push to watch it. Sadly, not this time. Sometimes JayShockblast influences me in the right direction. This was not one of those times.
I think I told you about this last week. The guy I went to high school with that was in WWE is in the show.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I said that or not, because I don't remember if I had seen it.
Definitely,
but yeah,
definitely would love to get some of them on. Preferably, I gotta see if I could find a contact for Stephen Amell. I would love to get him on.
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Any news on the Wonder Woman game where she gets the Flash treatment? You mean the Batgirl treatment? The Flash was not canceled. Unfortunately, it famously was released despite it probably should have been canceled. They chose that they got rid of Batgirl for tax purposes. They kept the Flash because they had spent so much money on it that they couldn't justify the tax write off. And they actually thought it was going to be good. I don't know how after watching it, but yeah. But it is what it is. Why are there no leaks of Wolverine? If you've gone this long without knowing about the Wolverine leaks, I'm not going to steer you in that direction. I'm just going to allow you to continue thinking there are no leaks. But but yeah, I've not heard anything new about Wonder Woman. Relatively new. The last thing, there hasn't been an official Wonder Woman update since they told us that it's not a live service game in response to that job posting. They haven't had a trailer since 2021's Game Awards, and they did send out a survey with concept art and a plot summary, but they never officially released it to the public. And the only other thing I've heard is that it's having development problems. So maybe this will be the year we'll finally get a new update. But yeah, so far not looking great.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I know people, and I haven't heard anything. I don't ask either, but still,
he should.
I don't know. Like having like information is like a blessing and a curse.
True. I mostly consider it a blessing. That's interesting. Yeah. James Gunn, still has some. We got some big casting, obviously with the lanterns, but there's still some big casting shoes they need to fill. They don't even have a Flash movie or a project at all on the docket for the DCU yet. And they technically don't have a Wonder Woman one. Like the Themyscira show is technically not even about Wonder Woman. It's like a Game of Thrones style show that takes place in Themyscira.
Yeah,
but
I bet that's gonna be shitty too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good, but it's definitely one of the projects on the DCU timeline that I'm not super keen on. That I think conceptually, I was like, I don't know about that one. Lanterns immediately. That sounds like a $1 billion idea. The Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow movie. I still hadn't finished that comic run. I was reading a little bit of it, but I think that movie definitely has potential. I don't know how well it does, but it is a really good story so far. And I heard that they do have a script for it, and whoever read the script, they said that they got to the end of it and were in tears. So take that for as you will. But yeah, we know there's a Batman Brave and the Bold, but we don't know who they're getting to play DCU Batman yet. So a couple big decisions still to come for the James Gunn DCU, but I think he definitely is just kind of focused on the immediate stuff. Like Creature Commandos is coming soon. Obviously Peacemaker season 2. A lot of people looking forward to that, but he's got to nail that Superman movie, or it's all pointless. Superman's got to hit because it, especially like, can you imagine how insufferable the Snyder fans are already annoying? Like, imagine how insufferable they're going to be on social media if Man of Steel outsells the James Gunn Superman movie.
Oh, you know what's crazy? So obviously we mentioned oh my god, what is wrong with my brain?
It's called old age.
Henry Cavill. We mentioned him earlier.
Voltron
is doing a Voltron movie.
Live action Voltron.
Should be interesting.
Another Amazon project. Yeah, he's doing Warhammer 40K already with Amazon. Now he's also doing live action Voltron project with them. So Henry Cavill getting them Bezos checks. I'm not mad at it. Big, but yeah, I do think that if James Gunn Superman fails to hit $1 billion, I think it would be fair to blame partially that on the decision not to cast Henry Cavill Superman. I know James Gunn, had his reasons, had his visions. Some people say it's because he doesn't like Henry, but for whatever the reason is, I think having Henry as Superman would have been better insurance. Like it would have given a project a level of security that I think the DCU and Warner Brothers definitely needed right now. Like Henry Cavill is more famous than he's ever been. Like he was an unknown when Man of Steel came out. Now he's a legitimate superstar in Hollywood. He's in demand. I think personally it was a huge mistake to even though I think David Cornsweet looks the part. He's I heard he's a decent actor, but I mean he doesn't have a cool name. I'm sorry, unfortunately, and he does. It's a possibility that it'll be a great and he'll become a big star because of it. But I think objectively there would be a lot more interest in a Superman movie if Henry Cavill was in it, and I think it was a mistake not to have him.
I don't disagree. I thought he was a great Superman, and I think he's age appropriate. I think, you're right. He does look a little younger than his age, but also I feel like Superman can be that age.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I hope Cornsweet kills it because like that would be great.
400%. I think that I thought the casting was still great. Like if you're not going to go Henry, at the very least, fill the cast with great picks. Like they look the part. They're really good actors. I thought Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was just inspired casting. Like she was fantastic, and Mrs. Maisel literally feels like she was made to be Lois Lane.
You do know Superman is not American, right?
Yeah, or British. He's an alien.
Yeah, he's not even an Earthling. Literally, like we can't cast Superman right.
Yeah, he's from a dead alien planet. He was raised in Kansas. He's not actually he's not actually a human or
I good content. I appreciate the contribution.
Yeah. Yeah, he's literally an illegal alien.
Yeah. In every sense of the word.
Every sense of the word. He's an actual illegal. If you're going to use the term illegal alien, it would literally apply to Superman.
I was thinking about New York Comic Con, and I don't have a ton of time because like I'm going to be there just the one day, but Haley Atwell is there. I think I'm going to have to make time.
I think you should absolutely make time for. There's always time. My motto is there's always time for Haley Atwell and Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. I don't think Aubrey Plaza's there.
No, unfortunately. But if you could get Haley Atwell there, definitely take advantage of it. That is a fine.
She's the new Laura Croft.
Yeah, she's voicing Laura Croft in the new Tomb Raider series that just hit this week. Yeah, I'm seeing the controversy from the usual audience. People, which I figured there would be people complaining that it's woke or whatever. I watched the first episode. I thought Haley Atwell obviously did a phenomenal job. But I haven't watched any more yet because I couldn't get over it. Like the story didn't completely hook me. I thought it was okay, but I couldn't get over the art style. And the animation. I just thought it was just kind of bad. But mostly in that it's not my preferred style, and I think that's partially because I'm used to watching like a higher tier of animation. Like I watch a lot of animated content. I watch, especially a lot of anime, and I'm just used to a certain level of production value and art style. And I don't think it's necessarily woke. I just think it's that I think that particular art style that they do for like certain American animated that's content that's not aimed for specifically kids it's kind of like this blocky,
Yeah.
art style where everyone's just kind of like bloated. There's not a lot of sharpness or attention to detail, especially on anatomy. Yeah, I think that's what's throwing people off. I think that, and that's just literally the style of those animators and artists, and I just couldn't get over it. I just don't like the look of it. I just think it looks bad to me, especially when I was watching some of the new Netflix anime that hit, and so unsurprisingly, they've got like 3 new anime that look like some of the best anime of the year, and I just coming off watching those and then just watching the Tomb Raider, I'm like, because even like there was a one new anime that hit on Netflix that's about the is like the Inquisition era. Like it's about this young boy who's aspired. He loves astronomy. This is back when the church was in charge and they believed that the earth was the center of the universe, and it was considered heresy to suggest otherwise. And the anime is about this kid and his discovery of heliocentrism and how the sun is actually the center of the universe, and he's trying to be careful because it just speaking that can get you literally burned to death by the church. And just watching that, even though there's not a lot of action in it, it was just way more compelling to me than the Tomb Raider, even though it had like chase scenes and combat and everything like that. Because and a big part of it was not even just the story, but the art direction, the animation, the art direction, the art style. If you're doing animation, the look of it is so important.
Yeah.
if you don't nail it, like your story really has to carry.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's bad. Otherwise it gets bad.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah, so I'm not going to complain. Yeah, I'm not. Obviously, those people have their agenda, but it's that the new Tomb Raider one's probably not something I'll go back to. Maybe I'll check out the Devil May Cry one anime they're supposed to drop. But yeah, if I watch your animated show and I don't like the animation, your story better be fucking incredible, or I'm clicking off. If it's not top tier, I'm clicking off. I'm not watching it. I'm sorry. It's just like because Netflix for non-anime animation, they've had some good stuff before. Like the early Castlevania stuff was really good.
Yeah.
They had a Witcher series, animated series that was really good as well.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it and it just didn't like. I don't know, man. I guess this is what makes me worry about future Witcher stuff. If it's not Geralt, I don't think I care.
Yeah, and that was the difference to me. Like I was never a big Witcher fan to begin with.
Yeah.
So I just like was just getting, I watched the first season of the live action, and I haven't played the games. I'm not invested in the lore. So I just watched the animated one because, I watched the first season of Witcher. I thought it was okay. I like the lore and everything like that. So, and I like animation, so I just checked it out and I thought it was dope.
Yeah.
I'm not an anime elitist. I'm an animation elitist. There's a difference, and not even that. Like I watch, so that's why I emphasize the story, because I've watched anime with dog shit animation and still enjoyed it because the story and the art direction were good, or the story was just that compelling. Like obviously the odds of me watching it are much higher if you have like really good production value, good art direction, good animation. But even if it's not top tier, I'll still watch it if I'm interested in the story. But if the story is like okay and your art direction and animation is just actively unpleasant for me to look at, I'm not going to fucking watch it.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. Is that not interesting? But I will actually when we wrap this up, I'm gonna be watching some Penguin because
I'm not caught up. I only watched the first episode.
JayShockblast, you gotta watch it. I think Eastwood was right. This might be. I think he says it's the best. There aren't that many good superhero shows on TV right now, but it's definitely a Hall of Famer in terms of superhero shows so far. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. The Matt Reeves verse is a really nice playground, and I'm enjoying it way more than I thought it would. I thought Colin's performance as Penguin in the movie was fantastic, but I didn't know how good a show about it would be, and it's incredible. It's every episode has been better than the last so far.
Yeah, I wanted to get through Heels and Agatha, so
that's the only reason I'm forgiving you. That's acceptable. But yeah, Penguin definitely worth catching up on. I think it's definitely one of the. I definitely would put it. So if it finishes out the season strong, I would definitely put it next to Daredevil as one of the best superhero shows we've ever seen. And it's not even a superhero show; it's about a villain.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Yeah,
but
for sure.
But it's very 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 good. I think they did a tremendous job, and that's I think that why I like the potential of the DCU, because the one thing they have advantage wise over Marvel, at least so far, has been TV. Like Max, the one thing Max has done well is television. That's that's their whole thing. So potentially having actual good movies combined with like really good television, I think would really help DC. Especially while Marvel's trying to get their quality in order. So I think that's definitely something that to look out for. I think the Lantern show is going to be really good whenever it airs, and if they want to do some more spinoffs, I'll definitely be open to it. Some more fun Sopranos. Yeah, I actually didn't watch all the Sopranos. I did watch like the first 4 episodes or so. It's definitely more fun in those first 4 episodes. I can't say about the rest of the show.
Yeah, I honestly never really watched The Sopranos, so I can't really say.
Yeah, heard great things about it, but yeah, I'll probably maybe one day watch it all. But the first 4 episodes were good, were for sure. But it is definitely a show that you definitely got to watch more of before it like really becomes peak, similar to The Wire. Like The Wire takes a couple episodes to get going, but once it does, The Wire gets really crazy.
Yeah,
Sopranos is one of the best shows. That's what they say. Yeah, it's good to revisit the classics. To especially if you've never experienced them before, it's nice to see what people consider classic. Some stuff holds up, some stuff doesn't.
yeah,
Unfortunately, The Dark Knight mostly held up. The Batman parts did not. Great movie. But Christian Bale's Batman does not hold up at all. It's fucking awful. The Wire is still good. Wire, if you go back and watch The Wire, it's still great. No matter when you watch it, I would definitely recommend going back on that. I don't know about I don't know about I don't know about Sopranos, but I think I could tell it was going to be really good if I kept up with it. But yeah, some stuff is yeah, Breaking Bad holds up. Yeah,
one of my favorite shows that I think holds up decently is a show called Jericho.
I love
If
Jericho.
you've never seen Jericho, man, that show is so good.
Oh, for sure. Heroes actually held up the first season, obviously, just the first season. But yeah, if you never saw Heroes, it was a legit phenomenon for a while, for good reason. The first season, still one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. Unfortunately, it progressively goes off the rails. But that first season was magic. Ooh, X-Files. That's actually a good one. I was doing an X-Files marathon at one point. It's definitely good fun to go back. I love David Duchovny. Loved him in Californication. Yeah, X-Files is definitely a classic. I would definitely recommend going back over X-Files. It still has up. And Smallville. watch Smallville. All 10 seasons of it.
Listen, Justin Hartley Green Arrow is really good.
It is, and it's a little. The weird thing about watching Smallville again is the knowledge that one of the main characters started was a part of a sex cult. but if you overlook that, it still holds up pretty well.
Yeah, that is crazy. Have you ever seen Mercy Reef?
Mercy Reef.
Yeah, they only filmed one episode as a pilot, and it was going to come out with Smallville, and it was Justin Hartley as Aquaman.
Really?
There's a one episode pilot that you can actually find. It's probably on. I think it's on YouTube. But yeah, it was gonna be called Mercy Reef, and it was basically gonna be the Aquaman, Smallville.
Huh? That might have been okay.
Yeah, I mean it's Justin Hartley. He's really good.
Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah,
but they didn't pick it up, and then he ended up being Green Arrow.
I mean, it worked out. I remember there's a couple of superheroes shows that I wish had gotten picked up more. Like I remember The Tick.
Yeah.
So Amazon, I don't know if they're still doing this, but they had this program where they would have like pilots, and fans could like watch them. They were encouraged to vote on them and see, what would continue. And one of the shows I ended up watching as part of that program was The Tick. They did a live action adaptation of The Tick, and it was really good. But I think it only lasted 2 seasons before they canceled it. But yeah, it was fun. It was a nice little trip to my childhood. I liked it. It was kind of like it kind of gave me vibes of The Boys before The Boys.
Yeah.
But without being like gratuitous and over the top. It was just kind of like a more adult but funny version of the original Tick series. It was kind of like, what happens if you have this like kind of over the top goofy character set in this like kind of really more serious setting. it just worked. I just really liked it. Putty from Seinfeld plays the Tick. Yeah, it was actually great. Like, yeah, if you don't mind the fact that it doesn't finish, I think it's a fun watch. But I think we can wrap it up for this week. I want to get back to watching this week's episode of The Penguin, and I'm excited about it because last week was crazy. No spoilers for JayShockblast benefit.
Yeah, I'll get to that after the stream too. But just a reminder before we go, for all of you that are still here,
100th
next week is the 100th episode, and it is going to be a lot of fun. And here is what we're doing. We're going to get people that have been on before. I know Doom said he wanted to come on. We're going to try to get Casual. He said he'll come on. I'm sure High Roller will come on. We're going to get all the gang in here, Miller maybe. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to open it up for all of you. We'll put the link in the chat. We'll bring people in. I'm not saying you get to stay the whole show, but we'll bring people in for a few minutes. You can hang out, say some things,
and then get the fuck out.
And I think that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll get familiar with StreamYards. There is an app. So if you like, you can just download StreamYards on your phone and then just join in that way if you want to. You don't have to have a webcam. You don't even have to be on camera, but you can come on, say hi, tell your favorite Sadot the Gamer story and why you love him so much.
Exactly.
And we'll have fun with it.
Yep, big 100 episode. Definitely could have tried to get a flashy guest, but I love that we're just hanging out with our people. And
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool idea. You know what I mean? And honestly, you know what made me actually think of it? The stalker. Like he wanted to come on the show, and that actually it's the one good idea he ever had was like, get people in here. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%. It's good that even waste of oxygen can occasionally come up with something useful.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll catch y'all next week. I'm Sadot the Gamer
I
signing
am
out.
not Casual Avenger.
No, but the real one will be back.
Yes.
Finally.
JayShockblast.
Zip it up, zip it out. Peace, my naysayers.